Welcome back to Beyond the Classroom. For today's video, we're going to learn how to organize your drawing by using layers inside AutoCAD. To begin with, let us first launch our AutoCAD application. So I'm using Autodesk AutoCAD 2021 version. If it happens that you have a lower version of AutoCAD, you still can follow. Alright, so to start, let's open a new drawing. If you happen to watch the lot plan plotting on my previous video, I have explained there how to open a new file in AutoCAD. So I'm still using metric. Alright, and then I'm gonna set the units on the keyboard, enter, and I'm using millimeters. That's okay. So alright, so in making layers inside AutoCAD, you should have first to understand the layer properties in here. So on these ribbon tabs, they're actually a layer. So inside AutoCAD, actually there's a default layer even though you don't know how to make it or how to use it. So how do I know what kind of layer is that? So if I double click on this layer properties, this will show up. Alright, so there's actually a layer 0. So that's a special layer. So you cannot delete that one that is default. So inside AutoCAD, there is already a layer 0. So you can see there's a name on it and then the properties, so on and so forth. So what does it mean? So it means if I close this one, okay, everything that we draw inside this particular drawing file belongs to layer 0. So that's the default. So how do we actually make layers? So making layers inside it, see? Okay, so you can add and delete a layer. So for this particular video, I have actually a sample floor plan. Before that, I'm going to use and create another layer. For example, I'm gonna make object 1. Click new layer. I'm gonna change the color actually. So in making another layer, all the properties of layer 0 actually is copied on the next layer. So since the color of the layer 0 is white, I'm gonna change it. I'm just gonna click this white. Then this color selector will show up. You can click color. But I suggest that you click the light colors because dark colors are hurting to the eyes. We need contrast colors to the model space colors. So click yellow for the purpose of demonstration. It did change, okay. Then like continuous, I'm gonna change the line weight to 0.40. Okay. And then I'm gonna close it. So what happened? If I draw again, it's still on layer 0 because it's white. So how do we change the current layer? See this one, I'm gonna drop, I'm gonna select object line. And then I'm gonna draw another circle. Then it turns yellow. One good thing about layer is when you change the color, you could identify what layer it is on the color of the drawing. So this one belongs to object 1, this belongs to layer 0. What if I am going to select this one and change the color and the layer itself? So I'm just gonna select this one and change to layer 0. Select this one and change to object 1. Voila! Now it's part of the object 1. To further explain that one, I have here a floor plan. Okay, so this floor plan belongs to layer 0, all of them. So I'm gonna add layers actually for the demonstration. I'm gonna click this properties again. I'm gonna add layer, this icon, new layer. I'm gonna name it wall. And then I'm gonna change the color. I want it to be 1. And then the line would be 0.50. Next, I'm gonna name another layer, fixtures. I'm gonna type fixtures. And then I'm gonna change the color, light blue. And then I'm gonna get a lighter line, 0.50 for the fixtures. I'm gonna add again. I'm gonna name it doors. and Windows. Actually, I can drag this name above so we can see the name. Oh, I misspelled it. It's Windows. I'm gonna right click and rename it. Doors and Windows. I'm gonna change the color so I can identify it on the drawing. And then I'm gonna make it 0.3. I'm gonna close it. So since I already draw the plan, okay, what I'm gonna do is gonna switch them to the layer that I want. Alright, so I'm gonna click this particular fixture. Okay, I'm gonna select it, just click on it, and then I'm gonna drop this one, okay, this down arrow, click, and then I'm gonna change them and select them to fixtures. Alright, now it's part of the fixtures. How do I know it's part? So if I off that layer, you see this bulb icon? It signifies it's on or off. So if I switch it off, the fixture will disappear on the drawing. So I know it's on the fixture and the color will follow. Okay. Next, so if I'm going to change another fixture, I'm gonna select it and do another way to do it. See this match properties above? I'm gonna left click on it. Left click on match properties. This actually matches the properties of the origin to the next object. So I'm gonna click this one, left click, and then it says select source. So the source is this one. I'm gonna click it, one click, left click. All right, and then I'm gonna click all the fixtures inside my floor plan. So it switched into. All right. Notice that the colors were already selected. If I off the particular layer, all of them on that color will disappear. All right, so they're inside the layer. Okay, next. Doors and windows, wall. Okay, so again, I'm gonna select this wall, and then I'm going to switch the walls. So now it's blue, so it's part of the wall. I'm going to do is match property. But for this particular one, I'm going to use keyboard shortcut. So match property in keyboard shortcut is MA on the keyboard, MA, and enter. I'm gonna select the source, wall, and I'm gonna select the next wall. So every wall will go to that particular layer. All right, for those on Windows, I'm gonna select this door and this one. Match property, MA, enter. I'm gonna click this one, then click the next door. So, match properties, source, destination. Okay, so if I'm gonna switch off the door, they will disappear. Alright, simple as that. Question, what happened to the line weights? Earlier, I said I've set the line weights into different. So the wall is actually 0.50. The fixtures are lighter, and so as the doors and windows. But how do we actually know that the layers actually took effect in our drawing? So for the purpose of demonstration, I've only selected a few ones. Alright, so if you can see in this status bar, there's actually a properties called line weights. If you did not see line weight, this particular icon below, you can click this 3 bar and make sure that the line weight is checked. So if it's not checked, it will disappear on the status bar. So I'm going to select it and make sure it is blue. Alright, as you can see, so the line weight will actually appear. But in the drawing, I suggest you do not activate that line because it really hurts the eyes. So probably you just want to check it from time to time if it actually has a line weight on it. So you can close this one. For the purpose of that colors, I have conditioned myself that all the color blue is 0.5 and other colors is lighter. Alright. One good thing about these layers is you can actually turn off the layer that we don't want to work with. Example, if I'm gonna turn the fixture, if it's necessary, you can turn it off. You can turn it back on. But there are conditions in the layer. First, you cannot turn off the current layer. For a particular drawing, the current layer is layer 0. So I cannot turn off layer 0 at this moment. For example, I'm gonna switch fixtures into a current layer. So now everything that I'm going to draw is under that fixture. That's what it means when you select a current layer. So if you want to turn off the fixtures, if I turn it off, this will show up. You want to turn off the current layer? Okay, you can turn it on or can just turn it off, but I suggest not. If you want to turn off that layer, I suggest you transfer to the next layer and change the current layer before turning it off. There. Alright. So that's how you make layer. So how do you delete a layer? Okay, so you're gonna click this one. If it happens that you want to delete a layer, I have a few suggestions for you. First, you cannot delete a layer if there is an entity inside it. What does it mean? So for example, I am going to delete this layer fixture because I don't like it for a particular reason. So if you're going to delete this one, you can select it and then you click this one. But we cannot delete this layer because we have drawings that are inside that particular layer. So what does it mean? For the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to delete it and prove that it cannot be deleted. Alright, so there it is. Now we have this prompt saying that the selected layer was not deleted because of these following reasons. So the best reason is there are particular drawings inside this file that is using the fixture layer. So if you're gonna delete that, there are ways to do it. First, you have to select this and migrate it to a different layer. For example, I'm gonna turn it back to layer 0, match property. So all of them, I'm gonna turn them back to layer 0. Alright, now I can see that there is no layer using that particular layer. So I'm gonna select it again, fixture. This time I'm going to delete it. I'm gonna delete it. There, it's gone. So when you delete a layer, make sure that you have transferred all entities to another layer. So on and so forth. Simple as that. Okay, another suggestion is that on my works and later years of making AutoCAD plan, I actually don't recommend naming the layer through this doors, windows, fixtures, lot, and other parts of the drawing because it's really time consuming. Imagine you have to make all the plans and name them all. How many layers will you make? It's a long list. Actually, I have prepared another one. Okay, so this is actually a file that uses different layers and line weight. So I'm gonna turn on the layer. You can see there are parts of the drawing that are thick, line weight, width small. Okay, I'm gonna close it one. For this particular drawing, I only have a few layers on it. So what are my layers? I'm gonna drop this one. See? So I use pen assignment. So what is pen assignment? It's a layer that deals only of how thin or how thick my lines I want to be. So I only have center line, lot, 0.05, 0.10, 0.15, so on and so forth. So I'm gonna click this layer properties for you to show what is inside. Alright. So I have conditioned my mind that 0.5 is color blue. So if I see blue lines inside my drawing, so the line weight is 0.4, 0.30, 0.2, 0.15, so on and so forth. So what is the convenience of a pen assignment is that I can only manage a few layers instead of having a long list of layers inside my drawing. So even though my drawing have so many difficult and different types inside it, particular drawing layout, I only have a few layers to begin with. So if I turn off all the 0.5, all the blue lines will disappear. Simple as that. The purpose of this layer for me is to assign the pen assignment at the line weights on the drawing. So I just maximize that part. So I just know where should this thick lines and thin line goes to my drawing. So I only have a few layers inside my drawing. So earlier I have demonstrated another way. If you want to name it like walls, windows, doors, it's up to you. As long as you have categorized the layers to the way you want them, it's still fine. So in my own case, I am very familiar and very convenient using pen assignment. So the layers inside this actually help me a lot in maximizing the time and efficiency of making plans inside AutoCAD. So if you have different ways of doing it, it's still fine as long as it helps you and it aids you to make efficient and accurate drawing inside AutoCAD. That's it. So in layer properties, actually, the good thing about this one is you could be able to transfer files. Okay, I'm gonna make a demonstration. I almost forgot. One good thing. If it happens that you have copied a certain entity inside this drawing and transferred to another file, the layer will follow. For example, I'm gonna click this dining table. Okay, so I have known that this layer is 0.15 because of the color and this is 0.3 because it's pink. I have conditioned my mind through that. So I'm gonna select this one and Control C, let's copy. And then I'm gonna switch to this particular plan. So I'm gonna paste it here. I'm gonna Control V and click. Alright, so now the table is here. Okay, so what happened to the layers? Actually, if you copied a certain entity, the layer will follow. So now I have there 0.3 and 0.5. Okay, so if you don't want that to happen, there is a certain trick that I do when I'm copying a certain drawing inside a different layer type. Okay, so to avoid that, if I don't like to copy the layer, what I'm going to do is before I copy this dining table into that drawing, I first change the layer. So the safest way to do it is to transfer them to layer 0 first. There. Okay, now it's layer 0. I'm gonna layer 0. Oh, I locked it. Alright. Now, it's white, so it's layer 0. That's the time I Control C and then turn it on the drawing and paste it. There, so no need to worry about my layers, it's still fine. So you have to maximize the layers and how to use them for us to have an efficient and categorized drawing. So that's it. Hope you have learnings on making layers. And actually, I am recommending pen assignment for layering method. Again, we cannot delete the current layer and we cannot delete layers that have entities inside it. If it happens that you have made a lot of layers, unnecessary layers inside, you can still click and delete it as long as there are no lines and drawings that is inside that particular layer. Alright, easy as that. Hope you have new learning. See you in the next video.